Welcome back to our third of an acre here in West Sussex, where we are trying to learn and grow as much of our own food as we can. It has been a very busy summer and I have spent not enough time in the garden at all, and as a result it is kind of a mess. But there's also a ton of stuff growing. I've got green beans, plums, tomatoes here. We've got a ton of greens. I'm kind of ignoring the weeds and thinking about what we're planting and what we're doing for the autumn or fall garden, enjoying harvesting what we can harvest. I'm also trying to make sure I remember what I would do differently next year. There's definitely things I would do differently in how we've grown things, where we've grown things, varieties we've used, timings on things. So I'm trying to make sure that's all written down and I'm not being optimistic about remembering it. And then saving seed. When I first heard people talk about saving seed, it kind of felt like an end of the world apocalyptic thing that people did in case all supply chains went down and there was nothing, and I was like, I can just buy my seed, it's fine. But this year I grew just all of one thing from seed that I had saved, and that was rocket or arugula. And there are so many reasons to save seed other than that we just might not be able to get seed anywhere and the world is ending and we need to have our own seed. It saved me money. I didn't have to buy any rocket seed this year, which was great. Maybe it's only a few pounds, but I'm gonna try and increase year by year the seed we save, and I'll show you what we are saving this year to save us next year. Also a second yield from whatever you grow. So I've had all my rocket leaves, we've eaten the flowers, and then we're also gonna get seed from it. So it feels like this, you know, this extra way of using a plant for productivity, and it enables the plants to adapt over time to your area. And I buy seeds that are UK grown for that reason, but even more so, they can really adapt to the exact climate in our region if we're saving seeds from the plants. So many reasons to save seeds. It's also just really fun and it makes great gifts as well. This year I'm also for the first time saving calendula. So this is not from saved seed that I've grown this, but it's some organic open pollinated calendula seed. And I have let some of the flowers go to seed and they just dry out on the plant, and then they are really easy to save. We've just let them dry out and then they make these little kind of, they look like bugs, I think, or little, some kind of creepy crawly, but those are the calendula seeds. So now we can save them. Really giftable. I'm excited to gift some seeds this year, but also to save them and plant. I'm going to pop them in my pocket here. If we go up to the greenhouse, I'll show you the rocket seed that I am saving. Last year, I didn't actually really mean to save the rocket seed, but I had some sitting in a tub that just dried out. And so I thought, all right, this is perfect. I will save the seed and see how it does. So all the rocket that I've grown in 3 different places this year is all from seed that we saved last year. And it is a really easy one to save. It is 9 in the morning, but it is hot out here. We've got a ton of tomatoes. Tomatoes are another one that I'm going to try and save this year, but all of these ones were grown from purchased, organic, open pollinated seed. But rocket is so easy to save, and I love it because it produces so many greens in such a small space, and they're really expensive to buy and often come in a lot of plastic, which makes it one of my favorite things to grow. You can see some of the rocket here that I planted. This was a second sowing of rocket, all from saved seed, and it is still planted in the ground. At the bottom, we've got these leaves, which is still edible and spicy, but at the top, they've gotten this flax color. And if I pick one of these off, you want to really do it with something underneath it because the seeds jump around. You can see on my arm, they've got these little seed pods. And if we open up the seed pod, we've got these little kind of dark colored tiny seeds. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 from that seed pod. And I'm going to save those over here. So I also have a big bundle of seeds. These were the first ones that I sowed back in Feb in the greenhouse that we've taken a ton of greens off. And I just very carefully pulled them out of the ground when they were dry, and I've put them on this old bed sheet because the seed pods start to explode on their own, and they will just self-seed where they are. But you can see here that one has broken open on its own, but it's broken open onto the sheet. You can see down in here all these seeds that are just falling off as we crinkle that rocket. And then we can go through and remove the husks, and we're left with all of these rocket seeds, and each one of these will grow a plant that will grow a ton of leaves and then create its own seed. Whew, I am sweating. It is so hot here, but that is going to save us hundreds and hundreds of seeds, which will both be enough for me to plant out some more for our autumn garden, to save some for next year in either seed packets. I'll probably do seed packets. I'll link some below to gift, and then I'll just save them in an envelope inside the house, out of the way of cold, too much cold and humidity. We want to keep them nice and dry. So they will come inside, we'll sort out the seeds and keep them for next season. And then that will be the second season of them adapting to this area, saving me money and having the satisfaction of growing something fully from seed. You can also, if you want to think about saving seed, but you don't actually have anything growing yet, if you have especially veg box vegetables where you know it's all organic and that the seed can actually be saved, you can pull seeds from tomatoes, watermelons, so many different things, and then grow from those seeds next season. We did watermelon from our veg box. If I can find some video, I'll pop it on the screen. We grew baseball-sized watermelons here in the greenhouse last year from seed that we saved from our Abel and Cole box, which was so much fun. And again, then you're not paying for seed. One other thing I am going to try and do this year, I did not know about these seeds until we harvested our potatoes. Well, all our potatoes this year flowered. She's still got some potatoes down here. I just pulled up, this was our third sowing of potatoes. I pulled these up yesterday, but all our potatoes flowered and then produced these little fruits on the top of the potato plant. Well, I had never seen these before. These are potato berries. And when you plant a seed potato, which is what I did for all of these, you get an exact clone of the potato. So there are a ton of seeds inside these little potato berries that will be a cross of the different potato varieties that we had in our garden. So I'm excited to try and extract the seeds. We'll mush them, put them in water, and then they'll ferment for a few days and the seeds will sink to the bottom that are viable. So stay tuned and I will let you know how that goes. But again, I'm excited to not have to use seed potatoes, but actually just to grow potatoes entirely from the berries that grew in the garden. These are potato fruits that I took from our second batch of potatoes. They've sat in my greenhouse for a bit, which is why they're kind of brown and shriveled. I've cut them up, poured water on them, and then mushed them a little bit so that the seeds can all come out and pop them on my windowsill. We've left these for a few days. They got a bit yucky on top. We'll pour that water off. It starts to ferment, and that is what you want. We'll pull out those little bits of fruit and then pour the seeds onto something that will absorb the water, a paper plate or some kitchen towel. This is actually toilet paper. After a day or two, that was all completely dry and the seeds could be just flaked off the paper. So now I'm saving them in an envelope labeled so that I know exactly what they are and they are ready to come back to at the end of winter and plant out. Side note, these are poisonous, so if your potatoes do this and you have kids or animals in the garden, make sure that you harvest them and keep them away from kids. That is what is happening in our garden late August. I'm just focusing on what we're able to do because life feels so full. I did a little August life catch up. You can see that here as I've been off Instagram, but that's what's happening here. There are a ton of weeds. It's a very real life garden, but we're doing what we can, enjoying the harvest, saving seed, and thinking about lessons for next season and what we're going to plant in our autumn garden. Thanks for joining, and if you want to see a bit of how this garden came about and the different things we've done in it, I have a playlist here over the last year through the seasons of what we've been doing in the garden, and I will put that life catch-up video that I did here if you want to just see what's going on in life and what has been happening through the summer in our home.